Hello! Hey everyone, it's Cherie from Big Notes Get Votes. I hope that you are well wherever you are checking this out, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And it's a good day. It's a good day because we are at it's actually day 29 of the Get Gig Fit 30-day action plan. And that is why I'm here today, because I just want to do a review of the last week of the Get Gig Fit 30-day action plan and kind of talk through and expand on some of the tips. Now, we've gone through a whole ton of tips, and there are 3 other review videos just like this one that you can go and check out on YouTube if you want to watch back. Or if you're on Instagram, there are quite a few. All of the videos are actually in the stories on IGTV in a series is what I'm trying to say. So you can go back and watch this at any time. And I hope that you have had some use out of it. So if you have any questions for me today, please let me know. I can see my Instagram pretty well. And I can see, hopefully, questions coming through on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. Thanks to the amazingness of technology. I hope that you have all managed to survive these very interesting times and have found new and exciting ways of navigating your creative everything, your creativeness, I guess, if that's even a word. All right, so let's just crack straight onto it. And I'm going to look back at the last, say 5-6 days, including today, and then what tomorrow's focus tip for the action plan is. All right, so the first thing that we looked at, so we're going back to day 23, was meditation. And look, there's never been a better time, current times especially, to have some form of practice that focuses on looking after your mental well-being. And it certainly extends to your emotional well-being as well. But as creatives, as you know, it's a tough game that we're in, and we often find it challenging to communicate outside of our art, or if our art isn't doing what it wants us to do or behaving in the way that we want, or the environment that it lives in or performs in isn't working out in the way we want, it can be very stressful, and it's hard to articulate that outside of music. And I found that meditation is a great tool for centering. And it doesn't have to be meditation. It can be any kind of mindfulness or focused, focused mindfulness. Is that a thing? Whether it's focused breathing, just stillness. That's the word I was looking for. Mindfulness and stillness. But also prayer, and you can just use an app if you need to have assistance. It's a great idea. Look, I think it's just whatever works for you, but a focus on having some time where you can just connect with yourself, reconnect, and allow white space into your monkey mind to help you to enable, I think of the white space as a tool for clearing out anything that's not serving me creatively so that there's more space for the creativity to come back in. So that's what I do. And I am a beginner meditator. I've been doing it for years, but I just use a guided app. I've got a couple of apps on my phone, and I often do it laying in bed before I get up in the morning. So I just kind of center myself. I get my best ideas. I even kind of find cleaning a little bit meditative as well. The mindless things, going for a walk, having a shower, that cleaning, that stuff creates white space, and it is a form of meditative, repetitive behavior that I find quite relaxing. And so that's the goal. And that was what day 23's focus was. Day 24 is something that we can't have right now, technically, unless you've got a really skilled and willing participant in lockdown. And day 24's focused is massage. Now, that's probably the thing I like the most in the entire world, and probably the thing I'm missing the most. But what I've done is 3 levels of massage for you here. Now, you can self-massage, and, some of the things that you can do for singers in particular is really making sure that you're getting some good facial massage in to release any tension in these muscles that are closest to our larynx. So, of course, stretches as well help to release tension. But when it comes to massage, you can even do laryngeal massage, where you actually move your larynx. If you feel uncomfortable, don't do it. Get somebody, a pro, to do it for you. And as always, there's a million videos on YouTube. I have gone down the sort of ASMR watching massage rabbit hole just to kind of keep myself, get my fix whilst I'm away from massage. I do have a massage chair in my house. It's not a fandangle one. It's one that just sits on the back of a chair. That's been helpful, as well as my husband. He's pretty good at, he's a very good in-house massage therapist. But when things are normal, I do enjoy going to get a massage, whether it's at my local mall, and I have ones at my local mall here in Auckland and at St. Luke's, and they are sensational. They are qualified. They're ACC registered. I go down there. I don't need an appointment. It's really, really affordable. And it's something that you can kind of do on a whim or with some regularity. Or, of course, go and have a specialist massage at a spa and make a whole experience of it as well. The point is, it's a tool in our relaxation kit that you can utilize. And I always talk about singers being athletes. And I do think that we, if our instrument, where our body is our instrument, if our instrument is tense and not able to function properly due to tension, we need to release it. So from the voice, from your mind with meditation, and certainly from your body with massage and stretches. So that's me on massage. Now I've got my notes here, which is why I'm looking down. And if you are here and thinking, why is she looking in such strange places? I have my Instagram set up there, and Facebook and YouTube here. So I'll try and keep my eyes in one place so I don't look like a crazy person too often. Okay, now day 25 is one of my faves. This is what I call the singer's survival kit. Now, I think you should definitely have a little baggie that you carry with you. Mine is just in a Kai carrier, those reusable Ziploc bags, and it has in it licorice tea, my favorite. It has salt sachets, just so that they can be portable. It has tissues. I'm just reading. Paracetamol, quite often. And then I have some other tools like my scarf, which I always carry with me, and my water bottle. So let me talk you through those things. Did I say hand sanitizer? I know that it's the hottest commodity in the world, but how it works is if you've got tissues and hand sanitizer with you, obviously, I don't need to explain the hygiene element for the current state of affairs. But before all of this went down, I would, of course, use it to keep my hands clean. If you're touring and you are meeting people and greeting people, and quite often you're shaking hands or you'll be touching lots of gear and stuff, it's just really important to have some hand sanitizer on hand. But from a vocal perspective, I would take the hand sanitizer and I would pop it on a little tissue, just smooth it out, and I would just wipe the grill of the microphone, both my own. I have 2 of my own microphones that I travel with me, in fact, I take it everywhere, rehearsals, practices, gigs, whatever, just so that I'm not sharing anything with anybody else. But then sometimes if you're on a festival gig and you have a 10-minute line check, you just don't have that time. And it is a lot to expect the crew to be sanitizing. Like, if they're doing it, props to you. But sometimes you just got to look after yourself. You got to be prepared. And so you grab your little sanitizer and off you go. So that's something that's been really helpful. Salt is a wonderful, it's a moisturizer. You put it in like a teaspoon of salt and a cup of water, and you can gargle it to help actually moisturize your mouth. If you have a really dry, get a bit of mouth breathing happening, or you find you get a bit of nerve-related dry mouth, that's a really great tool for helping, believe it or not, restore moisture. Or you can also get some glycerin swabs from the chemist, or dupes if you, I don't eat sugar or anything like that. So I don't do honey or maple syrup or anything. So honey lozenges are great as well. They're actually just great, full stop. They're another thing that I used to have in my Singer Survival Kit. And one, I gave a Singer Survival Kit to each of my artists, singers I work with, 1 year as a Christmas gift. I chucked some in there for them. You don't even need to put it into your mouth if you don't want to. You can actually dissolve it in some warm water and drink it. The key thing, though, is that get it as natural as possible, in my opinion. Manuka honey would be the best, and anything that's kind of whatever their qualifying system is. There's one here in New Zealand called UMF. As high a number as possible as you can manage. So lozenges like that are good just for antibacterial and anti-inflammatory, and that's well-being from the inside out. Versus some of the other vocal lozenges that you can take. So salt gargling, vocal lozenges, Manuka honey is my fave. Licorice tea, as I mentioned, is a great anti-inflammatory as well. You got to try things, find things that work for you, but that one for me is like, I remember I was on tour and I had back-to-back gigs, and I was really suffering from fatigue just all over, but especially vocal fatigue. And I drank, I think, I was like drinking a cup of licorice tea every hour. And honestly, it got me through, and I was being mindful of all the other things as well. But I can attest to that. Check it out though. Everybody's different. So make sure you know whatever you're putting in your body, that it's going to be okay for you personally. So as I was saying about the salt gargle, or the glycerin swabs, if you like sugar-free, there are options like that you can have, these glycerin tubes. They often are covered in a sugar coating. So if you can find some like Grethers pastilles, which are fantastic, they might have a little bit of sugar or sweetener in them, but they are amazing. They're actually the best. The Grethers pastilles are the best. What else? Paracetamol, obviously, if you're feeling unwell. You don't want to be singing with a headache. And the scarf I use to keep my neck covered. I have a couple, a heavier one and then a lighter one, depending on whether it's winter or summer. But it's such a helpful tool just to keep everything warm and covered. It's not necessarily super scientific that keeping this covered is going to assist, but it makes sense that a warm muscle or a room temperature muscle doesn't have to work as hard, to be warm and ready. I guess it's as simple as that. Last but not least is the trusty water bottle. This is one that I have all kinds, but this one is just one from Kmart. It was about $6. It's a double wall insulated one. I have also bought the Oasis double insulated wall ones, which cost in excess of $25. I kind of like the other ones, but this one I like, the sort of pricey ones, expensive but worth it.com, I call it. These ones from Kmart, I like actually because I do like to put sparkling water, I like to put still water, and then licorice tea as well, or just hot water if I'm using it to steam. I've got sparkling water in there now, but if you're using this as a vessel to take with you for steaming or whatever, you can pour hot water, not boiling water, but you can do what I call the Darth Vader, where you just cover it with your hand and your nose, and you just do, and you just breathe deeply. And of course, hydration in general, just by getting it into your body and carrying a water bottle with you all the time. Hydration is massive. So those are the things that are in my Singer's Survival Kit. What else? So that was day 25. Day 26. So this week's very focused on kind of relaxing and preparing for your performance. The 72-hour rule is something that I apply in the 3 days leading up to any performances, recordings, anything that matters to me. I start to tighten up my care practices in those 72 hours prior. So that means I really focus on my hydration plan. I focus on my sleep. I get in check with my nutrition. So if I'm, say, for example, some people react a little bit to dairy and they can produce more phlegm. So I would start pulling some of those things out of my diet in those 72 hours leading into a performance. Anything I know impacts me. So for me, it's definitely dehydrating substances, coffee, or as much coffee. I don't know if I could take it out completely. I think I might die, but certainly alcohol. And again, no judgment, but I would just pull it back. What else? You would want to make sure that in those 3 days, you've got all the information that's going to make your mind stress out. You want to make sure that that's all in lock. So soundcheck details, gig details, travel details, set lists, knowing your songs inside and out, being off book. Now, look, I'm not perfect. I have done many a gig and messed it up because I wasn't prepared. But I just really like to remind myself in those 72 hours before that there's still time. There's still time for me to lock everything in and to feel good. Oh, I just saw some messages come through. I'm glad you like the Darth Vader. Yeah, whatever it takes. So yeah, it's a good idea to have that 72-hour rule and to apply it to help you to just really, all of this, the whole entire 30-day action plan is all about enjoying yourself and feeling confident when you're performing. Because one of the things that I talk about with my artists and the singers I work with regularly is that, when it's big, oh my gosh, think about it now in particular, when people go to a performance or go to a show, they are there because they need some entertainment, some relief, some engagement with music and just to be taken somewhere. And the last thing that people need is your fear or your stress when you're on stage. So I try to make it as much as I can about the audience and to not stress out, because the last thing they need is my fear. Everybody's got their own and then 10 times worth of that fear. So if you can get out of your head and get into the performance and really enjoy yourself, it is contagious. It really does translate to the audience, but also to you. Like, you have a good time. You work so hard off stage to get ready. You want to be feeling it when you're on stage. Okay, I'm preaching. That's over. But day 27, this leads really well into that, is what I call the prep steps. And this prep acronym I use for myself just to remind me in the moment of things that I need to focus on, whether it's practicing or as I'm about to get on stage or even whilst I'm on stage. And also, I think just in life in general, it's a great acronym in my opinion. But PREP stands for P. The first P is for perceive, like really understanding where you're at. So what's going on in the moment? Are you tense? Are you worried about something? Do you not know your words? Whatever it is. So these are the things that you just need to figure out what's what before you get into anything. Practice performing, figure out where you're at. The next letter is R, and that's for release tension or just relax. And that really is through your body and your voice, mentally, whatever you need. And I've mentioned some tools that you can use through, massage, meditation, singer stretches, your silent giggle. The E then stands for engage or exercise, whatever you're doing. So if it's a practice and you're working on some vocalizations, or if it's a performance, like just get in it. Look at the musicians around you, or really think about the lyrics and connect with it, engage in the song. And then the final P is, it can stand for a number of things. It's perform, practice, play, whatever you're at, or wherever you're at, like just do it, be in the moment and deliver, get it done, land it. It's such an honor to be a performer that when all those planets align, it's just magic. And so if you ever feel a little out of sorts, you can kind of have, or I certainly use that as an acronym, but also just as a little mental checklist when I'm practicing. Day 28 is the ragdoll. And this is again back to being relaxing, just before you go on stage or just before you practice or when you're finishing something. It's kind of like a channel changer. It's an opportunity for you to go, okay, it's time to insert whatever you're about to do. So I basically take a big deep breath in, exhale, and I flop forward from my waist. I have my feet shoulder width apart, and I just kind of shake my body out. And while I'm flop forward like a rag doll, then I'll take another breath in, and I'll just exhale, flop even further, shake it out. And then I'll take one last breath in, and as I exhale, I'll roll up one vertebra at a time, with the last thing being my head and my neck, and just roll my shoulders back. And like every single artist I work with, every time I do it, we're all like, oh, we feel so much better. And it literally takes 10 seconds. So it's the quickest option. It's that, like, if you haven't got time to stretch, if you haven't got time to do anything to help you release tension, you just need to ragdoll. That's the key. And then day 29 is another step that I use quite often before I go on stage. I have an inspiration playlist. This went before I go on stage. The song I like to listen to, and I don't know why this is, but it's such a hype song for me, is Bang Bang by Jessie J and Ariana Grande and Nicki Minaj. I just feel like gangster. I go, it sets me up really well. So that's the song I listen to before I go on stage 99% of the time. And then, there we go. My Instagram just paused because my battery's low on my phone. The other thing about an inspiration playlist, or songs that really get you going and make you feel good, is that it's a way of refilling your creative cup. When I was working non-stop pretty much as a cover singer, I would feel every time I listened to music like it was work. It didn't feel fun anymore. And so I started to think of a word a day in the morning. It doesn't really matter what it was. It would be something random. Like I would look over at a car driving past and it would have some sign writing on it that said hydraulics or something like that. And I would just be like, okay, hydraulic is the word of the day. And I'd pop it into iTunes and I would search out whatever band or song had the word hydraulic or something similar in it. And I would just compile this inspiration playlist to force myself to listen to new music that served no purpose other than just to explore some new music. Because sometimes it's hard to know where to start. The curated playlists are great, but you sort of want to go outside a particular flex, in the sense of a pop playlist is awesome and then a rock playlist is awesome, but you don't often have like random rock, pop, folk, K-pop, whatever, all mixed into one. And so using this sort of word a day approach really worked well, and I would do that regularly. Aside from those playlists that I just love, like the classics, the ones that the other day, I don't know if you've seen it recently, there's a masterclass ad for gardening. And I cannot remember the guy's name, but they were playing some NWA. And I was like, oh, I forgot. I was like, yes. And then that kind of, I jumped down into my Express Yourself, went down the NWA rabbit hole. And then I went across and I found some Quincy Jones. And then I was listening to Justin Bieber. It was just that beautiful rabbit hole of nothing other than I'm inspired by music. Now, I know you all might be doing that regularly, and I really hope you are. But for me, it's, and a lot of people that I work with and I see regularly, just becomes like work. And you just need a tool that you can go to kind of recenter and make it about the joy of listening. I hope that made sense. But that's what I love an inspiration playlist for, and to get inspired, obviously. And now, last but not least, we come to day 30, which is actually tomorrow. So 2 things I'm going to say. Day 29 is today. If you have an inspiration playlist or any music that you'd like to share with me, your own, something you're vibing on. This is actually something I get my students to do quite a bit, and I have a big Notes Get Votes playlist with all of their suggestions, and I share it with them, and we'll kind of have a big a listening party. I haven't done that in a while, actually. I might have to do that today. I'd love to hear some new music. Now, my favorite band, I don't know if you can see my t-shirt, but is Lake Street Dive. So I encourage you to go and have a listen to Rachel Price singing some Lake Street Dive. She's amazing. And yeah, please give me in the comments some information about what you're listening to, what you love. It's New Zealand Music Month in a few days. And again, I know things are different, but last year, Rodney and the team there, they really up-leveled the engagement opportunities that New Zealand Music Month has, and the reach by taking a lot of it online anyway. So they are ahead of the curve. I think it needs to happen anyway. But yeah, share some New Zealand music. And then day 30, the last day, is to review and refocus. So I'd love to know, did you enjoy the Get Gig Fit 30-day action plan? What worked? What didn't work? What were you doing already? What did you try anything new? What are you going to continue with? Do you think you might employ these tips every month that has 30 days, which is what I usually do? So April, June, and September. And certainly if everything stabilizes in the world, in October I will be on tour. So September I will be employing it because I've been lazy. I've just got to be honest with you. What else? Yeah, share with me. If you need all of the tips, they are all in a playlist on YouTube. If you want a little calendar with the tips, message me and I will send you one, because I do have one that I give to my students. And any other questions, I would love to hear from you. I really appreciate it. And I will continue to roll out these live streams every Wednesday. The time might shift a little bit now that this term I will be homeschooling the entire term, but I'm still doing online coaching as well. So if you want to get some coaching or do a song study, a video performance review with me, just reach out. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you thought of this today and the entire Get Gig Fit 30-day action plan. Thank you for being here today. I can see some comments in the Facebook, but this tool that I use sometimes puts the name, sometimes doesn't put the name. So I can't see who the comments are from, but I will go in and have a look once this is done and reply to you. So thank you so much for your time today. Have an amazing day, and I will see you next Wednesday with some more and maybe some new specialness here. Take care.